silent prayer there. Cool content. All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, July 30th, 2026. And today I want to have a conversation about a word I saw yesterday. And that word is clarity. And the thing that's important to become aware of when we talk about something like a word called clarity is that this word shows up more than just about any other word. It arrives as a single word because it doesn't need a whole sentence. When clarity shows up, when clarity is requested, when clarity shows up in your own person, when I seek for clarity, the reason that we can say, I want that, is because if I described what I would say clarity is, I would realize I already have it. So I want you to sit with that for just a second before we do anything. And the reason it's important is because it goes along with everything that I speak on as it relates to personal undevelopment. We don't need more stuff. Clarity isn't more stuff. Determination isn't more stuff. Motivation isn't more stuff. The reality is that the clarity that we seek isn't outside us. Clarity is a feeling of standing in a place with more than one direction available and no way to weigh them. Right? That's not confusion. Confusion is loud. Right? Wouldn't you agree? Confusion is loud. This is quieter than that. It has a flat quality to it. A person can have a full calendar and real skill and incredible talent, decades of experience, a beautiful marriage, a mortgage, a reputation, and still stand in the middle of it all and can't see it. Listen, I don't teach from theory. I don't teach from maybe this might be the case somehow, somewhere, someplace, someone. These things, I don't think anybody stands in front of somebody and talks about a process they've never experienced. I should take that back. There's a lot of people in a particular business model that do that, called Me Loving More. You might just call it MLM. Here's what matters. Here's the part that matters. The feeling is almost never a shortage of information. You hear that? When we want this term, this physiology, this phraseology, this psychology of clarity, it's not because we don't have enough information. Nobody arrives at 61 or 45 or 56 or whatever number short on information. There's more information available. Thank you, AI. There's more information available right now than any human being could ever consume in 10 lifetimes. If clarity were an information problem, it would already be solved, which means the fog of information is doing something. The fog of confusion is doing something. The fog of not seeing is doing something. When a person asks me, Sean, how do I get clear? One of three things is usually underneath, and all three are counterfeits. And all three feel identical from the inside. And when I say counterfeits, it's kind of like the counterfeit yes. How many times has somebody said yes to you and then they didn't show up, or yes to you and they said, well, just send me the website and I'll check it out. Yeah, I'm in. Send me the website. Right? There's the counterfeit, there's the confirmation, and then there's the diabolical. They say yes just to get rid of you. Right? And then there's the fourth one, which is the actual yes. So here's the clarity counterfeit. They want permission. It's called the clarity permission. They already know, they've known for a while, and what they are looking for is a witness. Somebody with enough authority. Remember how you set the guard down inside the hallway? What does it take to overpower the guard at the end of the hallway? Doesn't take more intensity, because the guard can call in backups. It takes authority. And this clarity permission clarity is somebody, they're looking for somebody with enough knowing to make their knowing feel allowed. Man, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. That's not clarity. That's a knowing. That's a seeking permission that your knowing is enough. This is easy to spot because when the answer arrives, the person is not surprised. They're relieved. Relief is the sound of a decision that has already been made getting released from custody. Think about it. When's the last time you were relieved? Oh, what a relief. It was a knowing you already had, that somewhere it got permission to be let out. And you literally, your body literally sighs when it's released. So that's the permission counterfeit clarity. The second one, the second part of clarity is they want a guarantee, not clarity, they want certainty. I've worked with people in 30 plus countries, 40 different languages. It's all the same. What do you mean all the same? When somebody wants certainty, they'll call it clarity. I just need to be clear. How do I prospect people? What do I say to them? You say the same thing to them in Italy as you do in Serbia, as you do in Spain, as you do in Sweden, as you do in fill in the blank. When people want clarity, I just need some more information. They're not looking for more information. They're looking for certainty. See, certainty and clarity are not the same. They're different animals. Clarity is seeking the next step, which everybody knows their next step. They are clear on their next step. Doesn't mean they want to do it. They're clear on it. Certainty is knowing the outcome before spending anything, before spending any energy, before spending any time putting in the plan. See, nobody gets that. The search for it looks like research. It looks like diligence. It looks like responsibility. And it functions. Better sit down. It functions as delay. Seeking certainty is seeking delay. Man, I just need to know. I just need to know what I'm going to go do. I got to be clear on it. That's delay. Here's why you'll never be clear on it. This is going to hurt a little. The reason you could never be clear on it, because you're about to go do something you've never had before, to get something you've never had before. And you'll have to think a way you've never thought and feel a way you've never felt. There's no way you'll ever get clear on it until you start doing it. So the second counterfeit is they want a guarantee. The third counterfeit of certainty is they want somebody else to carry it. This is the most expensive one. And it sounds like, show me what to do. Man, this cost me $80,000 my first year in this profession. My first year in this profession was $80,000. Hang on. in debt. When I got started in this powerful profession, a profession I love and absolutely am excited for what it can do to people, I got really upset at some point along my way in this profession of what it does to people. Because we create a bunch of addicts in the networking profession. Well, how do I know that? Is because people will say, I need your help. It's not the person who's asking for help who's an addict. It's the person who can give the help becomes the addict. They start to judge their life on how many people they save, not how much income they make, not how many people get healthier, how many people they save, what they think they're doing to save people. Here's why this is the most expensive one. When somebody says, well, show me what to do, tell me what to do. And the market is very happy to answer because the market has been selling that answer for 100 years. Everyone who's got a nervous system, do you have a nervous system? Every one of these is doing a job on the nervous system. Permission, right? The number one counterfeit, permission, sparks this idea of risk. If I get permission from you, I need your permission to get clear. That one is easy. It sparks this idea that, oh, I don't have to take responsibility. See, when people ask me about clarity, I go, do you want clarity or responsibility? And they're like, no, I want clarity. I don't want to be responsible. So permission spreads like risk. It spreads the risk around. Well, if I ask them and I ask them and I ask them and I ask them and I ask 15 other people and everybody you've asked in the past who's given you permission to get clear, you didn't wind up with the right results. And guess what they said? Oh, that's your problem, not mine. Well, of course it's your problem because you took their permission. You got to give yourself permission. See, a guarantee removes the risk. Permission is one thing. You can get permission from anybody. Yeah, sure, go ahead. A guarantee removes the risk. So permission spreads it around. Guarantee removes it, and handing it to somebody else, show me what to do. Handing it to somebody else outsources the risk. It's why the number one searched word, I don't know, maybe it's different, but I think still the number one searched word or word used to search on Google is what? How. Write this down. How equals human. When somebody asks how do I get motivated? How do I get inspired? How do I get clear? How do I get fill in the blank? How equals human. When somebody asks you how and you have an answer, hopefully I'll do a decent enough job of explaining this. When somebody asks you how and you have a solution for them, they're happy. You feel good. I gave them their how. I gave them how to do it. Oh my gosh, they're going to absolutely skyrocket. The reason 99% of how questions never get acted on is because how equals human. If I ask you how to climb a mountain and you're the world's number one mountain climber, mountaineer, I think is the term. You can give me all the answers. You can tell me what gear to buy, what boots to buy, how to prep, where to get a Sherpa, whatever it is, you have done it all. And you give me the exact strategy of how to do something. There's a good chance I'll never get it done. Why is that? Because how equals human. I now have to change my story that I've never climbed a mountain before, that I've never climbed a mountain that big, or that I've become a mountain climber, And I don't have this identity of somebody who knows how to do that. I don't have the strategy because I don't have the state. See, if people really understood what they were asking, if they truly understood what they wanted, they'd ask a what question. What did you do to become the person that arrived at that goal? Because the reason we're asking somebody the how do you do X is because they weren't that person before at some point, right? What is it? What's the phrase that we see in memes? Everybody starts as a beginner. Nobody starts as a professional. I've stood on stage in 30 plus countries. I remember the first time I spoke in front of anyone. My first fee paid event 30 years ago, 35 years ago. I'm like, they pay me to do this? Somebody goes, how did you do that? My answer soon became, very well. Why do you ask? When anybody asks you a how question, I would encourage you, I would offer you, I would give you this on a platter to allow you to be of the most value to the individual. When somebody asks you, how did you do that? You might serve them best with a cheeky kind of answer that sounds like, very well, why do you ask? When I learned that phrase, my life got a whole lot less stressful because I was taking responsibility for them not doing on the how I gave them. See, my nervous system wanted them to succeed so bad. I knew they had it in them that when they asked me how, I thought they were serious. What I realized is that they were asking for permission and they were spreading out the risk, because I wasn't the only person they ever asked for permission. They asked for a guarantee. Sure, it works. How do I know a guarantee works? Listen carefully. If you've ever said or heard anybody say, if I could do it, you could do it, that's a guarantee. And a lot of people take action on the fact that you could do it. They'll never be able to do it your way. So then they get to blame you, going, well, I need to learn more. I need to do more. I need to go one more place. I need to buy one more book. I need to get one more training. None of that's weakness. None of that is weakness. This is biology protecting the person when they've been burned. How many of you have ever reached for something and got your hand slapped? I know it happened to me when I was little. I had two older brothers. My hands used to get slapped all the time. Here's the key. This is the biology. Your biology was protecting you. Because if you've ever been burned in the past, if you've ever had sunburn or got burned by the stove or hot water and went out into the sun, anytime your body got into an elevated temperature, you felt the pain. You wanting more of what you want is stepping into the fire. We know this is true. They write songs about this. If you're going through hell, just keep going. Why is it that we have there's such a pain about arriving at our success? That's a whole nother training. It's called jealousy. So let's get back to clarity and understanding why you already have it. See, here's what's actually happening. Here's what's happening underneath the fog. The brain is not a container that holds information. I need you to hear this. Well, we have memory. I get it. But memory isn't what's driving you. Hang with me here. This is important psychology. I'm not asking you to become a neuroencoding specialist or a brain trained specialist or a self-talk specialist. Let me see if I can't get this across to you in my farm boy way. The brain is not a container that holds information. Here's what it is. It is a prediction machine. It runs a model of what's true, of what it believes to be true, and it updates that model only when reality forces an update. That model includes an entry for who you are and what is safe for you. Think about it. If there are people who do what you do at a level you wish you could compare yourself to, at a level you wish you could arrive at a level you wish you could achieve that fluidity, that creativity, that whatever it is that they do well, if you can see that as something you desire and you're not there, what's holding you back? Your prediction machine called your self-talk, called your addiction to approval. It's safe for them. I want it to be, yet the bridge, the hallway from where you are to where they are, for some, it's a 30-year-long hallway. They've been slugging it out and walking through and decorating their hallway for so long. They've been in the trying room, the trying wing of their hallway for so long. They don't even want to give up trying. A prediction machine has one behavior worth understanding this morning. It answers the question it is handed every time without editing the question first. That's your brain. What's the two? You've heard it. Check anybody in science, check anybody in psychology, check anybody in sociology, check anybody in biology. What's the brain do? It does two things. Will this kill me? Or how fast can I recognize the pattern? The brain consumes 20% of your body's resources. It is not looking to have to recreate. It is not looking to break patterns. It's called hedonics. You are responsible for your own state of joy. Then why are you miserable? Because that's a story you've told yourself. That's a story somebody else put on you. You are not weak. You've got 1,000 experiences of you not being weak. You're not tired. You've got 1,000 experiences where you've pushed through a 24-hour stretch, a 3-day stretch where you've slept 2 hours a day. You pushed through it. You got through it. So you weren't tired. You were focused. You were trained. You were pushed through. You did the thing. You did the thing. What's the problem now? Handed a question built to protect you, and it'll hand back the answer that protects you. Let me say that again. When you handed a question, why am I so stupid? Why does this always happen to me? Brain's got 1,001 answers for that, and you believe it. It's not that it's not true. What's that phrase we've heard? If you want better answers, ask better questions. Handed a question built to protect you, and it'll hand back an answer that protects you. Oh man, I need more motivation. How do I get motivated? The brain hears, oh, so you're not motivated? We can answer that. How? The human that's not motivated. Oh, we've got tons of resources to prove you're not motivated, and you're not motivatable, if that's a word. Handed a question to protect you, and it'll hand you back an answer that protects you. That answer will arrive dressed as fog, because fog is the safest possible answer. Fog is the trying of clarity. Fog requires no action. Trying requires no real action. Fog cannot be wrong. Fog has never once cost anybody $1. What? So fog is not the absence of an answer. The fog is very well defending an answer to a question that was designed to keep you still. Fog is what happens when you don't have clarity. So fog is not the absence of an answer. Fog is a very well defended answer to a question that was designed to keep you still, which reframes the whole problem. A person standing in fog does not have an answer problem. I need you to hear that. A person standing in any kind of fog does not have an answer problem. They've got an answer. How do I get out of the fog? How do I get clarity? How do I get motivated? How do I become rich? How do I fill in the blank? It's not that you don't have an answer. You have an answer. You want to know what the real challenge is? They have a question problem. You don't have an answer problem. They have a question problem. And almost nobody has ever been trained on that. School trained answers. Answers got graded. Answers got rewarded. 40 years of practice at producing answers on demand and close to zero training on the instrument that determines what answers are even available. Oh, snap. You'll never get a better answer than the question you asked for it. The answers you are seeking are in better questions you've never asked. This is where the hallway shows up. And it's why the work is called what it is called. A hallway is a place with doors in it. Nobody lives in a hallway, although some people have taken up residence. It is the space between where you are and where you are going. And the whole experience of standing in one of these is the experience of looking at the right door. You know where you need to go. You know what you want to do. The reason that we come up short time and time again is because we want some kind of answer. We want some kind of permission. We want somebody else to walk us through the door. That's what a mentor does. You still got to, they ain't carrying you. I can't go lift your weights. I can't go do 10 bench presses for you and your arms get bigger. It doesn't work that way. So when a person is in a hallway, asks for clarity, what they're asking for is a door. Point at the one that opens. Point at the one that does not cost me anything. This is what they're asking for. Everything has a price. Clarity has a price. Motivation has a price. Inspiration has a price. Production has a price. Producing has a price. When we get to this point to where we start wanting an answer from somebody, when we want an answer from somebody, it makes them feel good. Oh, I helped them get clear. I'm going to date myself. Sorry, Charlie. The old tuna commercial. Sorry, Charlie. Doesn't work that way. And here's what makes the market understand. The market understood this so well. The personal development market, the inspiration market, the become an author market. Doors sell. Listen, I went to Mark Victor Hansen's best book seminar 20 years ago because I was going to be an author. Oh my gosh, to become, this is after the Chicken Soup for the Soul run, right? Which is still going, by the way. My point is that I thought becoming an author was going to be the solution. Oh my gosh, once I'm an author, I've got the book, I've got the this, I've got the that. Well, I never wrote the book. I bought the door. I went and had the father of public speaking train me. Bill Gove, rest his soul. Steve Siebold, the Gove Siebold Institute. I was trained by the father of public speaking. Did I instantly become a public speaker? No. Did I get a $70,000 payday? Nope. Well, if you learn public speaking, you'll become a speaker. Doesn't work that way. You got to go speak. I'm a 6-time #1 best-selling author now. Maybe it's gotten me some gigs. I was invited to be in some of these books. Why? Because I got a story worth telling. I have a credibility worth leveraging. What's your story? See, the market understood this process very well. They sell doors. Oh, if you get this, you'll be the next greatest grand poobah that exists. If you buy this program, if you get that program, it's about undeveloping, not adding more. You've already got the door to your next level. Doors are programs, doors are systems, doors are frameworks, the 7 steps, the 5 pillars, somebody else's morning routine, somebody else's funnel, somebody else's vocabulary. Every one of them is a door that opened for the person selling it. That part is real. Their door worked for them. If I could do it, my door, you could do it. You can't walk through my door. Sorry. Which is why when people retain my services, they're like, why aren't you giving me the information? I said, because my information doesn't work. But I want what you got. No, you want what you want. Stop wanting what I got. It's mine. Get what you want. Yeah, but I want to do it your way. My way won't work for you. If I could do it, it means the possibility for you is available to you. You got to do it your way. You literally got to be old Blue Eyes. I did it my way. You got to do it your way. Sorry for hurting your ears for that beautiful rendition. A person can spend 20 years and a serious amount of money collecting doors and still be standing in a hallway, in the same hallway, because a door somebody hands you is an answer to a question you never asked. Take a big breath. The hallway does not need another door. The hallway needs a key. And a key, listen carefully, was never, ever available for sale. Because the key is the question, and the question is already inside the person searching for the door. Your hallway already has a door. It does not need another. It needs the key to open that door. And the key was never for sale. People sell doors. They don't sell keys, because the key is the question. And the question is already inside the person holding it. This is what makes this work remove instead of addition. When I work with you, when I've worked with people in 30 plus countries, it was about removal, not addition. My first year in this powerful profession, or in one of the powerful professions I'm in, I was in addition, and I went and paid a college tuition for a very high end college, if you will, $80,000 in a year. I learned that addition does not work. See, personal development is not the acquisition of a better answer. It is the excavation of a question that got burned and buried under someone else's answers. Nobody arrives without a key. You already have the key. People arrive with a key underneath a pile of doors. That makes sense? So let us make this usable. Questions have levels, 4 of them. Most people spend their entire life on the bottom 2 and can't understand why the fog never lifts. So the closed question. Should I do this? Is this the right move? Am I too old for this? Answering anything with a yes or no, those are not questions. They're votes. And the brain casts a safe ballot every time. A closed question hands the decision to whoever is listening. I need you to hear that. The you that wants the thing, that wants to go through the door, is not the same one that holds you back. The I'm so stupid is not the one whose genius created the desire. A closed question, a yes or no, hands the decision over to who's listening. Now, notice how often a closed question gets asked out loud and never once gets asked on paper. There's a whole psychological reason why we oh my gosh, do I want this? Why don't we write that down? There's a whole psychology of why the writing, the journaling is what changes everything. That's a different conversation. So rung 1, first one is the closed question. Number 2 is the fog question. What should I do with my life? Well, what's my purpose? How do I find clarity? How do I get motivation? How do I stay inspired? These feel enormous and they feel important and they function as a wall. If I get on the other side of that, if I get clarity, if I get focused, if I get motivated, if I get fill in the blank, that's a wall. It's not a window, it's a wall. And walls stop you. They are too large to answer. So the answer that comes back is fog. And fog gets blamed on the person instead of the question. What do I do with my life? If that question ever shows up in your world, and it probably will if it hasn't already 1,000 times, and the answer comes back as I'm the problem with my life, that's shame versus guilt. Shame is I'm the problem. Guilt is my actions are the problems. And the reason that most of us never want to look at the actions is because then we'd have to change our actions. We'd have to upgrade our actions. It's a hell of a lot easier to say I'm the problem. That's shame. And we learned shame before we learned our name. So oh man, what do I do with my life? What's my purpose? These are huge questions and they're too large to answer in a sit down. So the answer comes back as fog, and fog gets blamed on the person instead of the question. Nobody is failing at these. The question is of an unanswerable size. So what happens? We stop asking. Here's number 3. The located question. Most of us are operating rung 1, rung 2, level 1, level 2. Here's level 3. Now the ground shifts. A located question is small, specific, aimed inward, and uncomfortable. What am I protecting by not deciding? What do I have to give up for that to be true? What is the thing I already know and keep deciding to say out loud? What is the thing I know and I keep declining to say out loud? Who taught me this was not available to me? What? You realize poverty is taught, right? We want to learn riches. So if we want to learn how to be rich, if we want to learn how to be at peace, if we want to learn how to have clarity, do you realize confusion must have been taught? Do you realize if you're seeking wealth, do you realize poverty was taught and you're just a good student? I $80,000 loss. I was a brilliant student on how to lose 80 grand in a year. It got taught. It's because it was taught to me. I just took an accelerated class that showed how smart I was. See, these things get answered. This is the point. They get answered quickly and they get answered honestly. And the answer usually costs something, which is exactly why fog is cheaper, why confusion is cheaper. Napoleon Hill says it right inside of Think and Grow Rich. Have your desire, decide what you're going to pay. What is the price you are going to pay for your clarity? What is the price you're going to pay for your motivation? What is the price you're going to pay to be inspired? What is the price you're going to pay to be outstanding every day? And if you don't answer that, then fog is a hell of a lot cheaper and easier to find. You can find fog on every street corner and every social media post. Here's number 4, the room question. This is the rung most people never climb. And it's where every piece of real value in a working life gets made. Listen carefully. The room question points away from the self-identity. What is the question the people in front of them cannot answer for themselves? What are they losing while that question stays open? Why am I the one who can answer it? Think about that. In network marketing, we have 2 primary rooms that people would love to get out of. They're looking for an answer to get out of the I got no time and I got no money. There's a lot of other questions. I got no community. I got no health. I got no fill in the blank. I got no energy. I got too much weight. I got no skinniness. Nobody wants to lose weight. They want to get skinny. The reason they talk about losing weight is because if I lose it, I can find it again. Have you ever asked anybody, or have you ever heard anybody ask the question to somebody who's overweight and wants to give up some weight? How bad do you want skinny? When people set money goals, how many times have we heard leaders? I was watching a video this morning. A woman said, I got started because I just wanted to make $500. If I could make $500, my family would be happy. She went on to make 7 figures. My point is that we all start with limits. If I could just get this, if I could just cross over this wall. And most people never hop over the wall, over the curb that's keeping them stuck. Do you realize when you look back, the thing that's holding you back right now isn't even a wall. It's a curb. It's probably smaller than the last curb you stepped down on, 4 or 5 inches high. The thing that's stopping you is less tall than a speed bump at Walmart. People get paid for holding a question that somebody else can't put down. Consider this. Consider what changes in practical terms. Nobody has ever been paid well for having a good answer. Think about it. Breathe. You should breathe. That's a great answer. Why don't people pay me $10,000? Why do people pay me $10,000 a month for an answer that's not that? Breathe. You should breathe. It's a pretty good answer. People get paid for holding a question that somebody else can't put down. That is what an audience is buying. That is what a client is buying. That is what an organization writes a check for. They write a check for holding a question that they can't ask and they don't have the answer for. A person who only answers stays employable. A person who holds a question becomes necessary. I did some time at Home Depot, and literally that's what it felt like, doing some time at Home Depot in the what's it called? The hardware department. I also did some time at Walmart. I wanted to see if I could get the job, and I got them. And then I wanted to see what it was like. And oh my goodness, I had the answers. Show up at 10 o'clock at night and work till 6 a.m. I answered that. Show up at different hours because they have you on a rotating schedule. Show up at different hours. You open, you close, you do this, you do that. I had the answers. I showed up to speak. I had the answers. I didn't have the questions. A person who only answers stays employable. Myron Golden talks about this. There's the manipulator, meaning you use a tool, you use something. You dig a ditch, you manipulate a shovel to dig a ditch. So there's manipulators, coordinators, the ones who oversee the manipulators, called managers, right? Manipulator can make $50,000 on the high end, $60,000, $70,000 today's market. I don't know how income works today. In today's market, they make $60,000, $70,000. A manager can make $150,000, $200,000. Then there's a communicator, right? You talk about a communicator is the people like actors. Harrison Ford is a communicator. Great one, right? All of these people, actors, communicators, they can make millions. And then there's the imagination. Manipulator, coordinator, communication, imagination. That's the Elon Musk. That's the Jeff Bezos. They're the richest people on the planet because they got paid for their imagination. What are you getting paid for? Are you coordinating people's cats and trying to herd their cats with them? A person who holds the question becomes necessary. All right, we're almost done. So here's the work for the next 5 days. It's small on purpose. Small is what the nervous system will actually allow. That's why self-talk. Can't do self-talk for 3 hours a day. Your body will reject it. It's got to be small. It's got to be incremental. It's got to be these small little bite-sized pieces. One question a day, write it down. No thought about. Don't think about it. You got to write it. 3 rules. The rules are the entire exercise. It can't be answered with a yes or a no. That knocks it out. Right? Yes or no knocks out the first one. Rung number 1. It cannot be about what you should do. That knocks out rung 2. But it also knocks out a statement wearing a question mark, which is what most people produce on day 1. It has to be a question you cannot already answer. If the answer arrives while writing it, that was a speech. 5 days, 5 questions. On day 5, read them in order. Notice the direction they point. If all 5 point at yourself, that is information. If any of them point at the room, at an audience, at a person who is stuck, mark that one, because that is the first sighting of a key that only you carry. And the second thing that shows up in that list, which is harder to say and worth saying. Whenever a person cannot bring themselves to write down is usually the question. The one that got skipped is the outdoor. Is your way out? So one last thing to carry out of here. The fog was never evidence of anything being wrong with the person standing in the fog. The fog is what happens when a well-trained answering machine gets handed nothing worth answering. It is a very ordinary result of a very common education. Nobody is broken. They were programmed to answer and never trained to ask. Which means the way out of the hallway is not louder effort against the same question. It's a better question. Asked once, honestly, on paper, or cannot be argued with. One question today. That's the whole assignment. And whatever question gets written down between now and tomorrow, understand what actually happened in that moment. That was not a search for a door. That was somebody finally reaching for the key that came with the door. If you've ever bought a door and a door frame for your home or a replacement door, didn't it come with the keys? Could you imagine how aggravating it would be to buy a door and every time you'd have to have a locksmith come out? You'd have to have a personal development coach come out. You'd have to have a book come out to give you to rekey the door so you could open the damn thing. It don't work that way, Skippy. So you'll never get a better answer than the question asked for it. Fog is not the absence of an answer. Fog is a very well defended answer to a question designed to keep you still. You're not broken. You're programmed. And programming can be changed. I'm Sean G. Murphy, founder of The Hallway. Welcome to this conversation. I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next